This is the Youngblood Life.
What the heck is going on, everybody?
What the heck is going on, everybody? Is that you trying to laugh off your frustration and anger?
You know, just kids have not listened today, and it's really eating at me, and I'm being very trying to be calm about it, and it's not working.
You're calm, I get it. You're always calm.
I'm not always calm.
Always. I've never seen you get upset in my life.
Right.
Anyway. Found an article that in Entrepreneur.
Okay.
Not manure, but panure.
Okay.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Panure. Yeah, not manure.
Entrepreneur.
Yes, thank you. It's not about poop.
I just said entrepreneur, though.
It's not about poop, though.
I know.
You're glad to see you're smiling, but I think behind the smile is anger.
Just a little. It's all right.
Anyway, so the article is called To Raise Well-Adjusted Adults. Teach your kid early about the value of reputation.
In other words, it should say, to raise well-adjusted adults, teach your kids not to be beep, 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 beep.
Yes, pretty much.
Early.
Well, it goes into, the article goes into, it says, as adults, we live with reputation issues every day. Sometimes someone at work doesn't like us, we get passed up for a promotion. Our LinkedIn profile is stale, so it goes unnoticed by leaders of our industry. People at the gym gossip about how unfriendly we are at the front desk with the front desk staff. Reputation issues surround us all the time.
Yep.
So, just like I tell the kids, listen, your word is your bond. What you say, you do.
That is true.
And then if you can't do it, you better have a good reason why you can't and a good explanation. If you tell someone, hey, I will be there at 8 o'clock, you're there at 8 o'clock.
You better be there at 8 o'clock.
I mean, if you say, hey, I will bring you 10 bales of hay.
You better take them 20.
No, take them 10. No, but I mean, reputation, it means everything. I mean,
it does.
Growing up.
And it used to be where a handshake meant everything,
well,
too.
That's what I was about to say. I mean, growing up in the South, I could shake your hand and say, okay, it'll be done. Which I think I've noticed that a little bit different in Utah is handshakes don't really mean much.
They don't mean anything to people.
Or even your word really doesn't mean much because people tend to only do what affects their pocket versus things that affect what they say.
Exactly.
Where if I say something, even if it's going to affect my pocket in a negative way, I still do what I say I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's how it should be like that.
Well, I mean, so our kids, it kind of like, for instance, our kids have I don't want my children to be known as lip hos.
Yes.
What is a lip ho? Give me a definition.
A lip ho is kissing somebody behind a dumpster, like a hoe.
Or kissing anyone and everyone all the time.
Right.
Doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
That is a good definition, actually.
Yes, it is.
So just like a hoe that you would pay to do stuff with, this is someone that you just kiss all the time.
Right.
So I have this thing with my daughters. I do not want them to be lip hos.
True.
Or my boys, I don't want them to be lip hos.
It can go both ways. Boys can be lippos.
Anyone can be a hoe. I mean,
not lipos, lippos. And not hippos, lippos.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Seuss.
You're welcome.
This Dr. Seuss moment was brought to you by...
Would you lipo over there with a hippo anywhere?
But no, I mean...
Liposuction here and there. Well, hippo.
It's kind of like, many podcasts ago, I believe we talked about how you worked for a company and they were doing drugs out of the building.
Straight out of the building.
And
right out of the facility.
And so you left the company.
See ya. Peace out.
Because...
they were dealing drugs.
And
I didn't want to get in trouble, even though I'm not a druggie. I don't do drugs or anything. But, if they were to get busted, I work there, and it could have been like, well, now you're going to be under investigation too.
It's death by association.
Exactly.
I mean, that's one thing that it's hard to teach a kid. I mean, we've had our kids that they'll go hang out with certain friends, and we're always like, are they a good kid? We almost qualify each kid before our kids hang out with them. And if they're going to be bad examples, you got it. Then they don't, they cannot be hanging out with them.
Absolutely not.
So, as little ones, we begin to define our identity in the colors that we like best, the toys we prefer, and the friends we make on the playground. Our sense of identity is how we see ourselves and how we expect the world to see us. It is a preference-based subjective, and feels completely within our control. But here's the thing: it doesn't matter. Everybody we meet, they have a different perception of who we are and what we are.
True.
It doesn't matter who it is or what it is. Everybody has a different perception of who we are. So, I hope mine is the same across the board, but you never know. You can't tell. You never know what other people think of you.
What somebody thinks of you, yeah.
And hopefully, people take, for one, us as adults take our word for what it is, and that's the way it is.
But some people are just too quick to judge.
Well, I think that's almost normal human nature. Mm-hmm. People jump in on that all the time.
Yeah.
But they're but I think people need to slow down a little bit, slow their roll.
Yeah.
Because honestly, who we are should be what we say.
Yeah.
There should not be two different people. Somebody may see me one way, but they may not see you another way.
True.
But
I have RBF, so a lot of people just think that that's how I am.
Yes, RBF that you have. Yep.
All the time. I try not to, but that's just me.
Well.
But if you guys talk to me, I'm not like, ew, go away.
I remember when we ran our own business. It was kind of like one of the managers where you work too. I'm sure, and I know he's a really nice guy, but he looks angry and mad a lot. But that's probably...
Oh, where I work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably because he had the same problem that I did and probably still do.
Yeah.
When my mind's set on one thing, my face looks like I'm angry.
Yeah, he has RBF too, but that's just how he is.
Well, but like for me, I wasn't angry. I was just thinking about all the jobs that had to be done.
Yeah, and that's him, because by the time I get there, he's like unloading a book on me.
Yeah, you got to do this, this got to be done. So he's thinking about all the things that have to be done before the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And so
pass over to me and be like, okay, this is what happened, this is what's going on, this is what went on, that so-and-so is doing this person did this, and this has to be done.
But that goes back to perception.
Yeah.
I could take it as he's a total jerk. He doesn't smile. He's been grouchy. I mean, it's
actually pretty funny when he smiles.
Well, I ran into him today, and he wasn't all smiley, but he says, "Hey, Devin, how you doing?" So he introduced himself to me. Not really introduced, but he said hello to me.
Yeah.
But that shows that he knew who I was, and he recognized that. But he also wasn't grouched. Like he looks like he was grouched. But it's just because the perception.
Right.
And when it comes back down to our reputation, how do you think we can teach our kids better? I mean, what do you think?
Honesty.
Oh yeah, I think
Seriously.
Starts with those core values.
Seriously.
Honesty,
integrity.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it really is.
For a lot of people.
It really is.
Integrity is.
I feel like I'm shouting out the Boy Scout motto.
Well, I mean, in many cases, that's as much as I don't like the Boy Scout program, that does instill good moral background to you. So I mean, but that's it. I mean,
even now the girls can do.
That's called the Girl Scouts.
Right.
You heard about the all girls Boy
Scouts
Scout troop, right?
That will be a different subject for another day. Because that one has me hot-headed. But we'll do that another day. I'm not in the mood to start that one
I'll
today.
pull up that clip by
we'll also
your favorite.
Maybe tomorrow will be, and this will leave you guys in a cliffhanger so you can find out what's happening.
Won't be tomorrow.
In Lehigh, a 4-year-old little boy today had his arm bit off through a fence by 2 huskies, and they can't find the arm.
What?
Yep.
That happened today?
Today. He was life-flighted to the hospital in Salt Lake.
Well, that tells me 2 things.
2 things.
The huskies were in their own fence.
They were in their fence.
And you can't blame the dogs.
Exactly.
I understand.
Right.
And Huskies are territorial.
And hold on. And the owners of the 2 Huskies did give multiple warnings and closed up that fence many times.
But they're still going to have to put the dogs down.
True.
That's what's going to have to happen.
True.
Yeah, I know this is a change of subject, but the dogs are still going to be put down. Mm-hmm. But I think, and as much as the boys are suffering, that family cannot. There can't be any recourse from
there cannot
side.
Because
they probably will because we are in Utah.
There is signs on the fence that does say beware of dogs. The owner of the Huskies actually closed off on his side of the fence that area, but somehow the little boy dug under the fence again.
Okay, here's the problem though, and this is what I see all the time. People here just let their kids. How old was this kid? 4. Okay, there's the problem. How many people here just let their kids wander around aimlessly without any question of where so-and-so is?
Right.
Where's this? I mean, you don't know how many times I've driven. Well, yeah, you do. You probably know how many times because I know you've done the same thing. Mm-hmm. Driven down the road and you see it looks like a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old just walking down the street by themselves. Yeah. No big deal.
Yep.
That irritates me. I mean, I'd like to know where Ethan is. I mean, he's 8.
Yeah.
I want to know where he's at all the time. I mean, we let him. He has a certain amount of freedom, but not a ton. Mm-hmm. I mean, his radius of
I will not let him walk down the street.
No, he's probably got maybe a 50-foot radius around where we live, max. But
but now these owners of these Huskies are probably freaking out because they did everything.
Well, they're going to get sued. What's going to happen is they're going to get sued.
They'll probably lose though.
Who, the Husky people?
Yeah.
Well, because it was a child.
Yep. So on one hand, I feel really bad for the owners of the 2 dogs because it was not their fault. Well, but then again, I feel bad for the little kid because the Huskies literally ate his arm.
Huskies are territorial.
Yeah, we had one. We know.
And that's just how they are. They when you're part of their family, you're part of their family. Mm-hmm. But
anything that comes in your yard, they'll tear apart.
I feel bad for the little boy, but also I feel bad for both. I feel bad that the family who has the Huskies are going to get sued. Yeah. It's going to happen. Yep. And they shouldn't get sued, but they're going to get sued. Right. But the family I feel bad for the family that their child that's lost an arm. Mm-hmm. That's going to affect him for the rest of his life. Yeah. I don't know. This is frustrating. You just frustrated me. You said you didn't want to talk about things that frustrate people, but you frustrated me.
Well, I didn't know that would frustrate you. I said we'll talk about that for another night because they're supposed to update the story tonight.
Well, forget about we already talked about it. You have to just do an update later on. Yeah. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Make sure you teach your kids to do what's right and death by association, and also that they need to learn good reputation skills. Right. So anyway, we will talk to y'all later.
You guys have a great evening.
Good day.
Bye, Elmer Fudd.
Good night. Elmer Fudd. Really, Elmer Fudd.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Without have no soul.